नमस्कार दोस्तों, लीगल गुरुकुल में आप सभी का फिर से बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। दोस्तों आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे नेक्स्ट 50 क्वेश्चंस ऑफ ट्रांसफर ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट। सभी क्वेश्चंस MCQ यानी कि मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चन होंगे। और इससे पहले जो मैंने वीडियो बनाया था ट्रांसफर ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट पे, उसमें फर्स्ट 50 क्वेश्चन यानी कि क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 to 50 उसमें डिस्कस किए थे। तो अगला लॉट जो है वो आज इस वीडियो में डिस्कस होएगा। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। Question number 51. The Privy Council in Mohammed Sher Khan versus Seth Swami Dayal has settled that option A, Section 98 of Transfer of Property Act 1882 is subject to Section 60 of the Transfer of Property Act 1882. Option B, Section 60 of Transfer of Property Act 1882 is subject to Section 98 of Transfer of Property Act 1882. Option C, either A or B depending on the facts of the individual cases. Option D, neither A nor B, and the correct answer is option A. Question number 52. The English rule that a grant should be construed most favourably to the sovereign. Option A is applicable in India in its totality. B is not applicable in India. C, partially applicable in all the cases in India. D, partially applicable to some of the cases in India. And the correct answer is B, is not applicable in India. Question number 53. The first draft bill of Transfer of Property Act 1882 was made by option A, First Law Commission, B, Second Law Commission, C, Third Law Commission, and D, Fourth Law Commission. And the correct answer is option A, First Law Commission. Question number 54. X marries to Y, but in case he dies in his lifetime, he would transfer the property to Z. X and Y perish together under circumstances which make it impossible to prove that she died before him. The disposition of property in favor of Z, option A, does not take effect. Option B, takes effect. C, disposition is subject to another contract. D, none of the above. And the correct answer is A, does not take effect. Question number 55. The notice period for termination of lease for residential purpose is dash in absence of contract or usage to the contrary. Option A is 15 days, B, 1 month, C, 2 months, D, 45 days. And the correct answer is A, 15 days. Question number 56. The provisions of Section 60A of the Transfer of Property Act 1882 do not apply when A, the mortgager is in possession of the property, B, the mortgager has recovered possession of the property, C, the mortgagee has defaulted in receiving payments, D, mortgager has not defaulted in making payments. And the correct answer is B, the mortgager has recovered possession of the property. Question number 57. The rule against perpetuity is given in Section 14 of the Transfer of Property Act 1882 applies to A, immovable property, B, movable property, C, both A and B, D, unconditionally to A, conditionally to B. And the correct answer is C, both A and B. Question number 58. A person is not put to his election unless he has a proprietary interest in the property disposed of in derogation of his rights. This is subject matter under provision of A, Section 35 of TPA Act 1882, B, Section 35 of Indian Registration Act, C, Section 35 of Indian Succession Act, D, General Clauses Act 1897. And the correct answer is A, Section 35 of TPA Act. Question number 59. Which of the following is the right of mortgager to redeem as conferred by the Transfer of Property Act 1882? A, right to demand that the mortgagee at his cost should transfer the mortgaged property to any such third person as the mortgager directs. B, right to demand that the mortgagee at his cost should transfer the mortgaged property to the mortgager. C, either A or B. D, neither A nor B. and the correct answer is D, neither A nor B. Question number 60. X transfers rupees 500 to Y on condition that he shall execute certain lease within 3 months after Y's death, and if he should neglect to do so to Z, if Y dies in X lifetime, A, the disposition in favour of Z takes place, B, the disposition shall not take effect in favour of Z, C, disposition requires further condition, D, none of the above, and the correct answer is A, the disposition in favour of Z takes effect. Question number 61. Transfer of Spes succession is A, valid, B, void, C, voidable, D, either A or B, and the correct answer is B, void. Question number 62. Under the provisions of the Transter of Property Act 1882, if there are patent defects in the property, A, the maximum of caveat emptor will apply, B, the maximum of uberium fedi will apply, C, both A and B, D, neither A nor B, and the correct answer is A, the maximum of caveat emptor will apply. Question number 63. The forfeiture under section 111G of the Transter of Property Act 1882 can, option A, not be waived off except by express declaration of the same, B, can be waived off by acceptance of rent becoming due after forfeiture after the suit to eject lessee has been initiated, C, can be waived off by accepting of rent becoming due after forfeiture in case lessee is not aware that forfeiture has incurred, D, can be waived off by accepting of rent becoming due after forfeiture as long as lessor knows that forfeiture has incurred, and the correct answer is D, can be waived off by accepting of rent becoming due after forfeiture as long as lessor knows that forfeiture has incurred. Question number 64. Where the mortgage is illegal for want of registration but the mortgagee continues in possession of the mortgaged property, a valid mortgage comes in existence after expiry of A, 5 years, B, 10 years, C, 12 years, D, 20 years, and the correct answer is C, 12 years. Question number 65. Section 37 of TPA Act refers to appointment by estate. In this slide, before the TPA Act, when a transfer was served by the sale of share in the version, the tenant was still obliged to pay the rent to all the shares jointly. Option is unless the apportionment has been agreed to by all the parties, B, any party is agreed by all the parties, C, any two parties are agreed, D, none of the above, and the correct answer is A, unless the apportionment has been agreed to by all the parties. Question number 66. The rule of election under Transter of Property Act as applied to will is enacted under in section 180 and 192 of the A, Indian Succession Act 1925, B, Indian Registration Act 1908, C, Sale of Goods Act 1930, D, General Clauses Act 1897, and the correct answer is A, Indian Succession Act 1925. Question number 67. Under the provisions of TPA, the seller is duty bound to disclose A, patent defects in the property, B, latent defects in the property, C, both A and B, D, neither A nor B, and the correct answer is B, latent defects in the property. Question number 68. Under the provisions of TPA, the benefits of a contract can be assigned as an actionable claim and transferred unless A, the contract is one which has been induced by personal qualification or consideration as to the parties to it, B, the benefit is coupled with an obligation which the assigner is bound to discharge, C, either A or B, D, neither A nor B, and the correct answer is C, either A or B. Question number 69. The provisions of the conditional transfer is provided in the Transter of Property Act. Option A, section 25, B, section 26, C, section 27, D, section 29, and the correct answer is A, section 25. Question number 70. What is the default interest payable under section 63 and 63A of the Transter of Property Act 1882? Option A 8% per annum, option B 9% per annum, option C 10% per annum, D interest is not mentioned in the sections, and the correct answer is B 9% per annum. Question number 71. Which of the following are not valid consideration for establishing a lease? Option A, rent partly in money and partly in kind. B, a stipulation to pay government assessment or taxes payable by the lessor. C, a personal agreement by a tenant to pay a certain sum or a certain quantity in kind to the landlord. D, none of these, and the correct answer is C, a personal agreement by a tenant to pay a certain sum or a certain quantity in kind to the landlord. Question number 72. A transfer is a guardian to B for her life with a proviso that in case B cuts down certain wood, the transfer shall cease to have an effect. B cuts down the wood. Decide the case in the light of Transter of Property Act 1882. Option A, B loses his interest. B does not lose his life interest. C, no such provision is made under Transter of Property Act. D, none of the above. And the correct answer is A, B loses his life interest. Question number 73. Which of the following are valid illustrations of an anomalous mortgage? A possessory mortgage without a conditional sale. A possessory mortgage with a right to cause the mortgage property to sale in the event of default in payment. C, both A and B. D, neither A nor B. And the correct answer is B. Question number 74. A transfer property to B for life and after his death to C and D equally to be divided between them or to the survivors of them. C dies during the life of B. D survives B. At B's death, the property A shall pass to D, B shall pass to any person, C shall pass to person who is specifically named in transfer, D none of the above. And the correct answer is shall pass to D. Question number 75. Inaccuracy in the recital describing the property. A cannot whittle down the effect of clear recital in the documents about the property to be sold thereby. B can whittle down the effect of clear recitals in the document about the property to be sold thereby. C cannot depend upon the inaccuracy or accuracy of recital describing property. D none of the above. And the correct answer is A. Question number 76. Under the Transter of Property Act, vested interest is A defeated by death of the transferor, B defeated by death of the transferee, C either or both A and B, D neither A nor B. And the correct answer is neither A nor B. Question number 77. Possession of a manager cannot be treated as ostensible ownership with the consent of the real owner. This was held in case of A. Shesh Mullah M. Shah vs. Syed Abdul Rashid, B. Ved Kumar vs. Union of India, C. Motimul Sovar vs. Vijay Lakshmi Ammal, D. B. Sita Ram Rao vs. Vibhushana. And the correct answer is A. Question number 78. Section 43 of the Transter of Property Act 1882 enables a transferee to whom a transferor has made a fraudulent or erroneous representation to lay hold at his option of any interest A which the transferor may subsequently acquire with property, provided he does not adversely affect the right of any subsequent purchaser for value without notice, B which the transferee may diskind the proceeding, C which both transferor and transferee diskind, D none of the above. And the correct answer is A. Question number 79. Under the provision of section 29 of the Transter of Property Act, an ulterior disposition of the kind contemplated in provision of section 28 cannot take effect unless A. Condition is strictly fulfilled, B. Condition is not fulfilled, C. Only B is correct, D. None of the above. And the correct answer is A. Condition is strictly fulfilled. Question number 80. In case of transfer of property under Transter of Property Act 1882, if the ulterior disposition is not valid, then the prior disposition is affected by it, B. The prior disposition is not affected by it, C. No such condition is prevailed under the TPA Act. D. None of the above. And the correct answer is B. The prior disposition is not affected by it. Question number 81. Under the provisions of section 35 of TPA Act, where a person professes to transfer property which he has no right to transfer, and as a part of the same transaction confers any benefit on the owner of the property, then A. Such owner must elect to confirm such transfer or to dissent from it. B. Such owner can elect to confirm such transfer only. C. Such owner can dissent from transfer only. D. None of the above. And the correct answer is A. Such owner must elect either to confirm such transfer or to dissent from it. Question number 82. The foundation of doctrine of election under the TPA is that a person taking the benefit of an instrument A. must bear the burden, B. must not bear the burden, C. burden is not the subject of election, D. none of the above. And the correct answer is A. must bear the burden. Question number 82. In the Transter of Property Act 1882, Section 33 to Section 37 apply to both immovable and movable property, whereas Section 38 to 53 apply to A. movable property only, B. immovable property, both immovable and movable property, D. none of the above. And the correct answer is B. immovable property. Question number 84. Provisions of Section 38 of TPA does not apply to cases falling under A. Benamidas or ostensible owner who can give no title except by estoppel. B. Contingent transfer which is based on happening or not happening of certain events. C. Perpetual transfer. D. None of the above. And the correct answer is A. Benamidas or ostensible owners who can give no title except by estoppel. Question number 85. Section 41 of the Transter of Property Act applies to voluntary transfers and has no application to A. Court sales, B. Contingent sale, C. Perpetuity sale, D. Priceless sale. And the correct answer is A. Court sale. Question number 86. Under Section 39 of the Transter of Property Act 1882, the provision is made for transfer where the third person is entitled to maintenance. In this context, the court held that right of maintenance even of Hindu widow is an identified right which falls short of a charge. This was decided in case of A. Ramanandan versus Rangamal, B. Ramkumar versus Ramdai, C. Rachwa versus Shiva Yogda, D. None of the above. And the correct answer is A. Question number 87. Right to maintenance under the provision of Section 39 of Transter of Property Act includes the enhanced maintenance in future to these if there has been a material change in the circumstances. This was decided in case of A. Adiveppa versus Tengawal, B. Kaveri versus Parameshwari, C. Dattatreya versus Dulsabai, D. Pranlal versus Chapse. And the correct answer is B. Question number 88. Within the provision of Section 39 of the Transter of Property Act, the word maintenance covers also residence. This was decided in case of A. Kaveri versus Parameshwari, B. Ramamurthy versus Kanakaratanam, C. Akhoy Kumar versus Corporation of Calcutta, D. Mehna versus Bachchi. And the correct answer is A. Question number 89. In order to get the benefit of the Section 43 of the TPA, some conditions are necessary. First, contract of transfer was made by a person who was competent to contract. Second, contract would be subsisting at the time when a claim for recovery of the property is made. Option A, both 1 and 2 are necessary. B, only 1 is necessary. C, only 2 is necessary. D, none of the above. And the correct answer is A, both 1 and 2 are necessary. Question number 90. The provision for the joint transfer for consideration is dealt in A. Section 45 of the TPA, B. Section 46 of the TPA, C. Section 47 of the TPA Act, D. None of the above. And the correct answer is option A. Section 45 of the Transter of Property Act. Question number 91. Where several co-owners of immovable property transfer a share therein without specifying that the transfer is to take effect on any particular share or shares of the transferors, the transfer as among such transferor takes effect on such share A unequally where the share were equal and where they are unequal proportionally to the extent of such shares. B equally where the share were equal and where they are unequal proportionately to the extent of such shares. C only A is correct. D none of the above. And the correct answer is B equally where the share were equal and where they are unequal proportionately to the extent of such shares. Question number 92. Within the meaning of the provisions of section 39 of the Transter of Property Act 1882, a woman is entitled to maintenance not only from the husband but also from sons who are members of joint family. This was decided in case of A. S. Periyaswamy versus Chelawal, B. Raghavan versus Nagamal, C. Chandramana versus Maniam Venkat Reddy, D. Basudev De Sarkar versus Chaya De Sarkar, and the correct answer is A. Question number 93. Presumption of equity pertains to A. Section 45 of Transter of Property Act, B. Section 46 of Transter of Property Act, C. Section 47 of TPA Act, D. Section 48 of TPA Act, and the correct answer is Section 45 of TPA Act. Question number 94. Under the provision of the Transter of Property Act 1882, where the immovable property is transferred for consideration by persons having distinct interest therein, the transferor are A. Entitled to share in considerations equally, B. Entitled to share unequally, C. Entitled to share equally but subject to further, D. None of the above, and the correct answer is A. Entitled to share in consideration equally. Question number 95. Under the provision of section 41 of the Transter of Property Act 1882, these are some conditions. First, transferor is the ostensible owner. Second, he is so by consent express or implied of the real owner. C. Transfer is for consideration. Fourth, transferee has acted in good faith, taking reasonable care to ascertain that the transferor has power to transfer. Under the provision of continuation of section question 95, under the provisions of section 41 of the Transter of Property Act, these are some conditions, and the options are A. Only 1 and 2 are required, B. Only 1, 2, 3 are required, C. Only 3 and 4 are required, D. All are required, and the correct answer is D. All are required. Question number 96. Section 38 of the Transter of Property Act has no application. A. To previous transfer where the transaction is still incomplete, B. To succeeding transfer where the transaction is to be completed in future, C. To perpetuity transfer, D. None of the above, and the correct answer is A. To previous transfer where the transaction is still incomplete. Question number 97. Under section 42 of TPA Act, if a person has a right to transfer property after exercising a right to revoke a previous transfer, a transfer of such property by him will imply an exercise of A. Right of revocation, B. Right of transfer, C. Right of surrender, D. None of the above, and the correct answer is A. Right of revocation. Question number 98. Section 44 of the Transter of Property Act 1882 deals with A. Transfer by 2 co-owners, B. Transfer by 1 co-owner, C. Transfer by 3 co-owners, D. Transfer by all co-owners, and the correct answer is B. Transfer by 1 co-owner. Question number 99. When one of the several co-owners transfer his share, the transferee acquires as against the other co-owners the same right that of a transferor had, but is subject to any condition and liabilities affecting the share at the date of transfer. This is the provision under A. Section 40 of TPA Act, B. Section 41 of TPA Act, C. Section 42 of TPA Act, D. Section 44 of Transter of Property Act, and the correct answer is D. Section 44 of TPA Act. Question number 100. Which of the following statement will hold true regarding exchange under the Transter of Property Act 1882? Option A. All the liabilities and responsibilities under normal sale apply to exchange. B. All the liabilities and responsibilities under normal sale apply to exchange subject to provisions of section 119 and 121 of the Act. C. No liability and responsibility under normal sale will apply to exchange unless specifically stated. D. Liabilities and responsibilities under normal sale will not apply to exchange under any circumstances. And the correct answer is B. So friends, these were the 50 questions, question number 51 to 100 of ट्रांसफर ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चंस MCQ। तो ये हमारा जो है सेकंड वीडियो था जिसमें कि हमने 50 फर्दर क्वेश्चंस जो है डील किए हैं। तो आगे आने वाले वीडियोस में और भी हम क्वेश्चन जो हैं इसी टॉपिक पे या और अलग अलग टॉपिक्स पे हम डिस्कस करेंगे। तब तक के लिए अगली बार हम फिर मिलेंगे, तब तक के लिए धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।